Today, I'm putting the 2025-2026 NBA City Edition jerseys into a tier list. Starting off with the Atlanta Hawks, they have the MLK black and gold jerseys. These are ones that they've used before and they brought back this year. To me, these are honestly a B, and I'm grading these based on the looks of it, not based on any sort of city or culture ties. So I'm just judging it and ranking it purely based off of the looks of the jersey. I'm going to put the Atlanta Hawks MLK jerseys at a B. Pretty solid jersey. I like the colors, but also nothing too crazy about it. Next up, we have the Brooklyn Nets, and honestly, I'm a pretty big fan of these jerseys. I like the look of them. I like the simplicity, but also the colors on the side. It kind of fits just their theme as a team as far as, the simple black and white Brooklyn, but also having that little bit of color on the side. But to me, it's kind of the same tier as the Atlanta Hawks MLK jerseys. Not an A for me, but also not a C. And now we have the Boston Celtics, who are keeping it traditional, pretty classic with the white and then the gold. Nothing, too out of the ordinary for the Celtics. Pretty standard for them. But I don't know. These jerseys aren't the best nor the worst in my opinion. If anything, they're more like a C, just because I do like the MLK and the Brooklyn ones a little bit more. But maybe it's those Boston jerseys I do kind of fall in love with a little bit more throughout the season. And then we have Chicago's. I believe it's kind of tying in the theme with their city flag, which is pretty cool. But again, just based off looks, I actually really like these jerseys. The black with the blue and the red, I think it looks really clean. The Chicago Red Cross kind of reminds me of MJ's earlier years in the league when they had those red Chicago jerseys. But I'm a really big fan of these. These do remind me of when Zach LaVine was on the Bulls, which might not have been the best time for Bulls fans, but solid jersey. I think I'm going to put it in B, though. It's nothing, that I really, really like as far as an A, but it's also not something that I'm, mixed on like the Celtics jersey or not the biggest fan of. And now we have the Cleveland Cavaliers with their orange jerseys. Honestly, I'm not a fan of these. Maybe once I do see it on the court, I would like the look of it a little bit more. Kind of seeing that matching with the court, but to me, I'm not a big fan of the land jerseys in general. I really like their throwback ones they brought back this year from the old LeBron days. I think those are really clean, especially with the court, but I'm not a fan of the land jerseys in previous years, and especially this year with the color. I don't think it really looks the greatest. But again, could totally change my mind once I see it on the court. But for now, I'm honestly going to put it at a D. And now we have Dallas's. Dallas's, when I first time I saw these, I wasn't a fan at all. Looking at them a little bit more, I like them a tad bit more, but really not a lot, if I'm being honest. To me, they're probably a C with the Celtics. And now we have the Denver Nuggets. These jerseys are clean, but they're not my favorite. They are a really good looking jersey. I honestly go back and forth between the black version and the white version on which one I like more. These do remind me of the bubble, which was some really solid basketball. Some of the best hoops we've ever seen, just as far as pure basketball wise. To me, these are an A. Definitely better than the B tier, and most certainly better than the C tier ones. And now we have Golden State. I actually really like these jerseys. I don't know what it is. I'm not the biggest fan of the town look, but I think it's just more the color is really intriguing to me and just something different. I'm not sure what the significance of the color is, but I really like this color with the jersey. I think it looks really clean. I want to kind of put it in A. I'm going to put it in A. I'm putting it in the A tier. It may drop to a B later on once I kind of see all the others being placed, but for now it's an A tier jersey. I really like that cream color with the brown. I think it looks really smooth. It goes well together. And yeah, I think it would look really clean once we see Steph in it. And next up, we have the Houston Rockets with their H-Town jerseys. I really like these two. I think these are really clean jerseys. Are they S-tier material? In my eyes, no. But they are very clean. I do like the white with the red H-Town going across. Definitely a clean looking jersey. Is it A tier? No, but it's definitely a high B in my opinion. And I would even say the Chicago jersey is better than Brooklyn, and yeah, even over MLK's or the Atlanta Hawks with the MLK jerseys. But it's my current tier list ranking. Really like the H-Town one, so I think those are very clean. Next up, we have the Indiana Pacers with a little bit of a throwback look. I really like these. I wish we could see Tyrese in them this year playing on the court, but a very clean jersey overall. I like the colors. I think it goes really well with the white. Definitely gives me a Reggie Miller vibe, which I think is really cool to bring back that look. Is this an A tier? Not quite. It's definitely probably the high B, I would say. Maybe honestly even over H-Town. I really do like these jerseys though. They're simple but very clean, and I'm sure they have some sort of beautiful core to go along with it, which when we see it with the core, I think it's just going to make it pop even more. For me though, it's a high B. Next up, the Clippers. I'm not going to lie, the first time they wore jerseys similar to this, I was not a fan of them, and I'm still not. I just don't know if it's like the lines or the look of like the LA, but two big letters, it's just not the greatest look in my opinion. I think the colors are okay. I don't know, they almost kind of give me like a Chicago vibe as far as just like the stars on the side, it looks like, and the colors too a little bit. Not the biggest fan of that LA look. I feel like if they went with that scripted Los Angeles they used to have from the CP3, Blake Griffin, DeAndre Jordan days, I think would be a little bit cleaner, whether it said Los Angeles or Clippers, which is kind of funny because that just ties in a little bit more with the Chicago jersey we have above. But yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, this is a low C tier jersey. I'm not a fan of it. Maybe it looks better with the court, but it's nothing intriguing to me. Like I don't even know if I'll look at that jersey for more than 10 seconds if I saw it in a shop. Like, it's just not very appealing to me personally. And next we have their crosstown rivals, the Los Angeles Lakers. The first time they wore this, not a fan. Not one bit. I do get it. It's a throwback to some former jerseys. I do like the black. I do like the purple and the yellow. I think that looks good. Or the gold, I should say. But it's really just the lettering placement. Like having the N at the top, just something about it just doesn't look right to me. I'm just not a fan of the shape. How it's kind of like a triangle up top. It almost looks like a house, if I'm being honest. You know, you got the Lakers as that little foundation, the number as the walls, and then you got Los Angeles as the roof on top. Like, again, maybe it'll look better in person. It'll look better at the court, but this is a jersey I'm not a fan of. I don't think this is a good looking jersey, and to me, this might be a high D. It could move up to C, but yeah, great colors, just really disappointing look. If anything, maybe more of keeping it simple, just Lakers across, I think could look really clean. Almost kind of like bring back the Hollywood Knight look from the Kobe days late in his career, I think would be really clean. Obviously without the sleeves, because I'm not a big fan of sleeve jerseys, but just having that look of the Hollywood Knight jerseys, I think would be really, really clean. And Luka and LeBron will look really good in those. But for now, it's going to stand as a high D for me. Next up, the Memphis Grizzlies. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about these. They're definitely no more than a low B to me. I do like the white with the colors. I think that looks good. And whatever the design they have on the side looks cool, but I don't know. I don't know if it's the stripes that's just kind of throwing me off, because I don't think Memphis has ever had striped jerseys or pinstripe jerseys like the Magic or the Pacers, which I think is why it's throwing me off a little bit. To me, is this better than the LA one? Yes. Is it better than the Mavs one? It could be. I think without the stripes, it would be, somewhere in this B tier for me personally, but for now, I'm going to put it ahead of the Clippers on the C tier. Again, like I've said with every single jersey, I'm sure it looks better in person and on a body and on the court especially, but for now, I'm giving it a C tier. Next up, we had the Miami Heat with their Vice City jerseys, which I really like. Are they maybe overusing it these past few years? Sure, but is it still a clean looking jersey? Absolutely. And with the court, I would assume that they would bring back from that they've used from previous years. It just goes so well. But the jersey alone, really love the colors. I think it represents Miami really well. And again, just as far as look wise, I think it looks really, really clean. To me, that this is definitely an A tier jersey, and I'm actually going to put it above the Warriors, but behind the Nuggets for now. But really love it. Beautiful jersey. Again, kind of similar to the Nuggets. I really like the black versions of both the Nuggets and the Heat jerseys, but I will say I really do like the white ones as well. The pink Vice ones that they had a few years back, not the biggest fan of them. I do get what they're trying to do, but I'm not a fan of it. The light blue version, it was okay. And then the gradient, not a fan at all. I really don't like gradient jerseys, and I hate that. My favorite team, the Sacramento Kings, wear those purple and black gradient jerseys. I despise them. Next, we got the Cream City Milwaukee Buck jersey. Really like this look, similar to the Warriors with the cream look. Really like it. Really like the green with it, and I think it even has like a little bit of blue somewhere in it, which I think it's just kind of the cherry on top. Not sure why it says Cream City, but nonetheless, a really beautiful jersey. And to me, honestly, this might be an S tier. Definitely above the Nuggets, I would say. Oh, well, them and the Nuggets might be tied a little bit. I would say they're above the Heat and then above the Warriors. But very good jersey. Really a big fan of it and very clean. Next up, we have the Timberwolves with their Prince jerseys. I know that they wore these a few years back, I believe, and they decided to bring them back this year, and I'm really glad they did because I really love these jerseys. These are an easy S for me, quite possibly even over the Bucks. It's the look of the text looks aggressive, and I think it looks really clean as far as with the Wolves text across. The number looks great, and then just the color scheme. It's just goes really well with that kind of magenta, pink, kind of purple look with the darker purple. I think it looks really clean, and yeah, I'm a big fan of this jersey. I think it looks great. And then we have the Pelicans. Not a fan of these jerseys one bit. These are a D tier for me, and quite possibly the worst. I'm not the biggest fan of lime green as far as just a jersey color. Sure, some teams maybe can make it work, and maybe the Pelicans could if they changed it a little bit, but to me, not really a lot going on, just kind of a very bland jersey. Maybe if there's some sort of like third color that made it pop a little bit more, I would like it a bit more, but to me, it's nothing special. And yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about what you could do with the Pelicans color scheme, but yeah, I'm not a fan of that jersey if I'm being honest. Definitely one I wouldn't buy. But next we have the New York Knicks, who I really like these jerseys. I love their color scheme, and again, that kind of cream color. Really big fan of those jerseys. To me, this is an A, and possible. Yeah, I would put it over the Warriors for now. I don't know if I would put it over the Heat's Vice jerseys, but definitely over the Warriors. I really like that orange color, and orange is my favorite color, which is kind of funny because I have the orange Cavs jersey down at D, but I really like that orange and blue, the Knicks. And with that New York, I think it just looks so clean. And yeah, I think it's just such a clean jersey. I think they did a really good job with this. I know they kind of had a similar theme going on for the last few years. With last year's, there was the white one, and they had the New York kind of almost, I forgot the textile, but a little bit similar. And I thought those were really clean. I think they had a blue one, I want to say, in a couple years ago. But I really like what they got with this jersey. I think it looks really good. And I think they're going to win a lot of games in those jerseys as well. Next up, we have the Thunder. When it first came out, was not a fan one bit. Did not like it. I thought it looked very bland. I thought it looked boring. But honestly, after seeing it in person at a Lids, it changed my opinion. I really liked it. I can't tell you why specifically I really liked it. I think just seeing it in person really changed my opinion on it. I really like it. If I were to see it on court, with the court that they have and on the players' bodies, maybe I would go back to disliking it. But for now, I really actually like this jersey. And to me, this is above. I would say it's above Chicago, but below Houston. possibly could move up to a high B or a higher B. But I really like that jersey. I think it's a clean look. And yeah, it reminds me of the light blue jerseys they had, I think, during Russell Westbrook's final year at the Thunder with the text and all that. But yeah, I think it's a clean jersey. Can't complain. And I think it looks good. Next up, we have the Orlando Magic, who are my second favorite team in the NBA. And to me, I'm not the biggest fan of this jersey, which, I like what they did, their rebrand. I really like those jerseys, but after doing such a great job with the rebrand, it's just, what are these? Yeah, I don't know. The gray reminds me of those sleeve gray jerseys they had when they still had Oladipo, and I was not a fan of those jerseys. Still not, probably because they were sleeved, but it's just also the stars on the side reminds me of that one Galaxy looking jersey they had that was just like, what are you wearing? It's just, no, I'm not a fan of it. I feel like they could have done so much better, and again, maybe it has some city, connection or whatever. I mean, obviously it does. It's a city edition, but to me, nothing too special. Not a big fan of it. But is it worse than the LA one here? I mean, kind of not. I'm gonna put them over because I do like the Magic text. I think the Magic text looks good. It's just the gray of what reminds me, and then the stars on the side. Just I feel like they could have done a little bit better job. And honestly, I'm gonna move up this Lakers jersey above the Clippers. I'm gonna put the Clippers down at D. I don't know, just looking at the Lakers jersey just now, I liked it a little bit more. I think it's just really the colors I'm liking, obviously more than the LA ones. And then, both of them just honestly have awful text placement, but it's, I think the Lakers just have better colors there. So I'm just going to leave them there for now. Next up, we got the 76ers, which I want to say they've worn these before. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it's a clean jersey. Looks good. I like the text going across with the Philadelphia. It's a nice color. It looks good. Yeah, I'm going to put this. Honestly, this is a high B for me. I think this even maybe goes over H-Town, if I'm being honest. Again, I like the look of it. I like the Philadelphia cross. I think that looks so good, and better than, say, if it's at Philly or Phila or something like that, or 76ers. I think the Philadelphia going across looks really, really good, and then the colors as well. I think they nailed that jersey. So, nice job, 76ers. Next up, we have the Phoenix Suns with their Valley jerseys. Really big fan of these jerseys. Kind of similar to the Miami Heat Vice. I do feel like they are starting to stretch it just a little bit. I feel like they wear them pretty often, or, have worn them quite a bit as far as just bring them back. I still really like them though. I think they look so incredibly good, and especially if they bring back that same court, I think it just looks so good. So to me, this is probably next to Denver, if I'm being honest. Would I say it's better than Denver? It's close. Is it better than Miami Heat Vice? I would say just barely for right now. Better than Knicks, yes. Better than the Warriors, yes. I think it looks so good of a jersey. I really like the colors. I like the look of it. I think it's with the Valley across. I think that looks awesome versus if it's at Suns or Phoenix. I think just that Valley, the Valley, I think that just brings back a lot of good memories for Suns fans. And yeah, I think it just looks like a very, very solid, good jersey. Next, we have Portland's PDX, which I already know they don't have a court, at least the last time I checked with it, which, I mean, right away already brings it down a little bit. I'm not a fan of these. Again, if they had an actual court with it, maybe I'd like it a little bit more, but they don't. So, I mean, that's not going to help my future opinion with this jersey. I'm not quite sure what the teal, has a connection with the city. Maybe something really important, and that's cool. But to me, as far as just fashion look, not a big fan of the PDX across. I feel like they could have done something a little bit different. Whether it is, I think it's really just the colors that's throwing me off. Like, I don't feel like the Blazers have ever had this kind of color scheme. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just not a big fan of the colors. And I feel like they could definitely, done something really, really cool. I feel like they've had some really cool city edition jerseys in the past, and this year was just kind of meh, in my opinion. To me, is this a D tier? Unfortunately, it's looking like that. I think it is above New Orleans because I do feel like it has a little more of a pop than New Orleans, at least. But is it better than Cleveland's? I don't know. They're kind of a tie, and the LA one I would say is just a little bit better. And next up, we have my favorite team in the league, the horrible Sacramento Kings. We're tanking for that number one pick. Will we get it? Probably not, but that's kind of the only thing we're good at is tanking. And then ending up with like the fourth or fifth pick, which is fine. But yeah, anyways, really love this jersey. As soon as they announced this jersey, I love it. I love the gray ones that they had in their 2023 year. Those City Edition ones were amazing. Love those. Those are some of my favorite Kings jerseys of all time. And I might even like these purple ones a little bit more, if I'm being honest. Same look, it looks like, but just purple instead of the light gray they had. But yeah, I love this purple look. I think it looks so incredibly clean. And am I biased? Probably. But to me, this is definitely a high A. Honestly, it might be better than Denver, and that's just my bias Kings side coming out. But I would say it's better than the Valley jerseys. And yeah, I might even put it above the Nuggets. I don't know if it's S tier, maybe it is, but really big fan of that jersey. Obviously, we're going to pick up a lot of losses in that jersey, so that's great. And hopefully, we can get a number one pick out of wearing those jerseys. And next up, we had the San Antonio Spurs, bringing back that classic look. Simple, but I think it looks good. Yeah, I think they did a good job with the text. To me, I don't think this is an A tier. I think this is definitely a high B or a low A, I would say. Better than the Pacers one, I would say, just by a little bit. Better than the Warriors, maybe tied. I think it looks really good, really simple, really clean, good colors. They go well together. But it's a high B for me right now. And we have the Toronto Raptors. Yeah, not the biggest fan. Do I love the historic ones with the purple and the Raptor? Yes. Do I like these ones? No. And to me, these are a C. They're better than Dallas's. Maybe, yeah, they're better than Boston's. I don't know. I don't think it looks really all that great. Good idea, the right idea, just poor color, execution. I think that just mainly has to do with my bias towards the purple ones. They're throwback ones I really love. And then just kind of taking that jersey and then swapping out for black and, a white Raptor and red text and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I don't know. If they never had those purple ones, maybe I would like this one a lot more because I've, clean, fresh slate on my opinion and perspective on, this jersey. But when I look at these, I just think, why did they not choose purple? I think it would look just so good and would be very much so worth it bringing back. Last one, and not least, we got the Washington Wizards. Well, maybe least, but Washington. I am torn because I like that they integrated the two kind of themes they got. They got their modern day theme with the stripes going across and all that, and then the older theme as far as the black and gold jerseys they had from the Gilbert Arenas era, and bring back that color scheme with today's modern look. But jersey wise, it's not the best, it's not the worst. It's just a mediocre jersey. To me, it is better than this Raptors one if it wants to move. Better than the Raptors one. Better than Brooklyn? Not sure about that one. It's fine. It's nothing special. I feel like maybe they could have done something different. Maybe even bring back like a Bullets more kind of look. I think that would have been cool. But yeah, I mean, just nothing special in my opinion. There's nothing catching my eye about it. But again, like I've said with 99% of these jerseys, maybe if I saw it on a player's body and on the court, maybe I'd like it a little bit more. But for me, it's a C ranking jersey. I'm going to look through this and see if I'm not making any changes, and then I'll be right back. I think this is my final rankings. Quite a few changes. Let's start at the top. I did add the Sacramento Kings one to the S tier. Am I biased? Yes. Yes, I am. Really love these jerseys. I think this is a great jersey this year. It was hard, honestly, putting it above the Nuggets, but I think that's where my biased fan base kind of kicked in. But to me, it is an S tier jersey. I don't think it's better than the Bucks one. It's maybe, if anything, they're kind of tied. And I think the Wolves kind of take the cherry on top as far as just, I love the text. I think the text just looks so good, and that's what puts it number one for me. Nuggets jersey, really solid. Suns jersey, really solid. I put the Knicks one over the Miami Heat Vice. Again, I think it's just the color scheme is just growing on me more and more. I really just like the look of the jersey, and it's something a little bit different as far as the sense we haven't seen this exact jersey compared to we have seen this style and this look of the Vice jersey before. So that's the only reason why it's over the top of Miami, but very close between those two. And Golden State, still very, very solid jersey. Really like that. Still got San Antonio over Pacers. Philadelphia, very solid jersey. Same with Houston. I bumped Chicago up over OKC. The more I looked at this jersey, the more and more I really just remember how much I liked it from previous years. And still, again, this OKC jersey is solid. It's a good jersey. And you know what? I'm actually going to bump this Brooklyn one down. I'm going to bump it to a high C. Because to me, like a B tier is a jersey that I really like to wear. If it was for the right player, I would think about buying it. If it's in the A tier, I would definitely consider buying a jersey. It would have to be for a player I really like, but say if my favorite player was wearing that jersey, I would most certainly get it. And then S tier, I definitely would love to have a jersey of someone's on each of those in the S tier. And then C is just like even if my favorite player wore that jersey, I wouldn't get it. I did bump Toronto down. Just not the biggest fan of it. Bumped up Memphis over Dallas. It's kind of growing on me just a little bit, but again, it's just the pinstripes. I don't know why I'm not a fan of that. It's just throwing me off for whatever reason. Bumped up LA over Orlando. Again, it's just the color scheme I really like. I'm not the biggest fan of the gray for the Magic, but again, the color scheme for the Lakers is carrying them, up and through the C tier. And honestly, they could go above Dallas if I'm being honest, just because the colors alone are great. And then D tier, nothing changed. I still think this Clippers jersey is awful. This Cavs one's a little bit disappointing. Same with the Blazers, a bit disappointing. Feel like there's just more potential they could have done. But I will give them their flowers for trying a little bit different as far as color scheme and going outside their original colors with the red, black, and white look. So I will give them that. But just feel like they could have done more of it. And New Orleans, it's not a fan of the lime green, not at all. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe for more, and I'll see you in the next video.